Hey everyone, I'm Steph,
I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are diving into the magical world of romantasy and covering The Wolf King by Lauren Palphreyman.
All right, let's start with why we selected The Wolf King. How could we not want to read a book that starts with a princess being kidnapped by an alpha werewolf on the night before her wedding when she's supposed to have an arranged marriage to a complete asshole? Sign us up.
Sign me up. I'm here. I'm in. Go. Let's go.
Also, what is not to love about Callum? He is like the perfect character. We strongly dislike him in the beginning, only to fall for him as the book continues. He's like the type of man that brings you breakfast in bed, burns down the world for you, and gives you as many orgasms as you would like. That also, sign me up.
Sign me up.
Plus, there are so many different layers to this world, and we're pretty sure we haven't seen most of them yet. I think there's some more things to come in the series. And then Blake. He is the bad guy that we should hate, but we might be secretly drawn to. Like, should we trust him? Probably not. Do we kind of want her to fuck him? Yeah. It's confusing. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a game-changing ending that makes us crave the next book in the series.
I cannot wait. I need it. I need to read it like right this second.
Same.
But we held off. We held off. And here are a few things that you need to know about the author, Lauren Palphreyman. So first, she is an Amazon best-selling romantasy author who likes to write strong and complicated men who respect women. Very nice. And women who are strong and fierce. So we love that already. We're like, yes, absolutely. And she loves to do romantasy tropes with a twist. First, she got started writing serial fiction online and had one of the top stories on Wattpad with over 70 million reads, which is like amazing. And then she previously worked in publishing and now spends her time writing about werewolves. I love it. Sounds great.
Sounds great. Sign us up.
Yeah, sign me up.
So, before we jump into this book, a couple of key reminders. This episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening that you have read this book. You have been warned. This book also contains some topics that may be sensitive for some readers, and we're going to talk about them on the show. Animal abuse or death of werewolves, anxiety, assault, blood, death, emotional abuse, kidnapping, murder, sexism, sexual harassment, torture, violence, war.
Good times.
Just a little bit.
Good times. Just a few. Just a few. Not our longest list.
No.
But still some in there. But now let's talk tropes. So first we have enemies to lovers. So from the first moment on the page, Aurora sees Callum as her enemy and a monster. She's been told nothing but horrible things about wolves and assumes he has no problem killing people in cold blood. Not a great start to a romance.
No.
Next we have forced proximity. So while she is with the wolves, Aurora has to stay close to Callum for her own safety. Oh no, I have to stay next to this handsome werewolf man. Stop.
Oh, whatever will I do?
Whatever will I do? Wonderful. And then we have forbidden love. So Aurora has been raised her entire life to believe that she has to remain untouched until she's married. Boo. And she is also betrothed to Lord Sebastian. Boo.
Boo.
Boo, don't like him. And these feelings that she suddenly has towards Callum would be completely forbidden because of her betrothal, which is made worse by the fact that he's a wolf. So, mortal enemy, forbidden love it. And then lastly, we have touch her and die. So Callum has protective instincts about Aurora from the very beginning of the book. It's why he saves her from marrying Lord Sebastian. Yay! And he takes her with him. So these feelings eventually grow throughout the book, and he is willing to challenge his own brother for the throne because he harmed her. So can't wait to dive into this.
Same. All right, so in terms of every magical twist, it is the night before her arranged marriage to Lord Sebastian. Ugh. Gross.
Yuck.
And Princess Aurora is forced to sit beside him and her father to watch the werewolves fight to the death. It gave me very gladiator vibes.
Oh yeah, major gladiator vibes.
And it's for entertainment. And think about this, it's the night before your wedding and you are forced to watch werewolves fight to the death.
Romantic.
Very romantic, right? Sign me up. No, gross.
No, thank you.
So she's not super happy about having to marry Lord Sebastian, but she doesn't have really any say in her life. Her entire life is dictated by her father, and she's constantly used in a way to further the needs of the kingdom, which is why this marriage to Lord Sebastian is happening. And so she finds all this werewolf fighting to be despicable, like I think any person with morals would.
Yeah.
Especially, there's a young wolf that's brought in to fight in against this alpha werewolf that supposedly took out 5 of the king's men to bring in, right? It's obvious this young wolf is not going to survive this fight. And Aurora's like watching the alpha kind of like beat on him. And then she yells to stop the fight and wants the werewolf to be saved. And her father and Lord Sebastian are not pleased with her interjecting because women are to be seen, not heard. That is the best way to describe this world. Like, you should be quiet and know your role. We do not like that. No, thank you.
No.
No, thank you. And then Lord Sebastian also comments about Aurora's outrage because she might have a thing for beasts and alludes to how wolves have sex with women, which I assume he means doggy style, and I don't understand his problem with that. But
yeah,
whatever.
Like, that sounds fun.
Right?
Yeah. Sign me up.
I'm like, why is that a bad thing? Well, I mean, anything with Lord Sebastian would be a bad thing, I guess.
True. Yes. I don't know. Yeah.
So then Aurora asks for the young wolf to live as a wedding gift from Lord Sebastian, which he surprisingly agreed to do because I just assumed he was going to have him killed and be like, that's your wedding gift or whatever. And then the creep whispers to her that he can arrange for her to be taken like a common mutt after the wedding tomorrow. And he might throw her in the alpha's kennel so he can fuck her. And I'm like, hold on a second. You're going to marry her. You just threatened her with doggy style sex, which you said was bad. And now you're going to give her to a werewolf to have sex with? Like, excuse me, what? Wouldn't she be your wife at this point? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm like, and she's supposed to remain untouched up until then. So it's like, okay, so like once you've married her and had her, like anyone can touch her?
It's like a free-for-all? Like, what's going on?
What is this? No, thank you. No.
I hate Lord Sebastian.
Ugh. And honestly, getting into this book was a little bit hard with the name Callum because in my mind, I'm just like, fucking Callum.
Right?
Yeah, from Jennifer Armentrout, and I'm just like, Callum. But I'm like, okay, rewire my brain. I gotta like this name. I gotta like this guy. Different guy. Same name, different guy. We like this
now
one.
It's like fucking Sebastian.
Yeah. And now we're like, fucking Callum. Yeah.
Like in a good way.
In a good way.
We'll get to that later.
Okay, yeah. So first, later, after the fight, Aurora sneaks down to the kennels to try and help the young wolf with his injuries. Very loving heart from her. And she has to pretend that she is from the brothel to get let into the kennel. So she's like, I'm here for help. And the guards there are like, okay, well, good luck. And they give her a piece of silver to use before she goes in because they're like, this will burn the skin of a wolf. So if you need protection, like, you can protect yourself. I'm like, well, at least they do that, I guess.
Right?
Sort of. Like, they're literally handing her over to the wolves to get fucked doggy style. But here's some silver just in case. Great. But she goes in to help, the young wolf with his injuries. And it's really, really sweet. And the alpha is actually in the cell right next to him. And the alpha knows that she is the princess and makes it very clear that she should not be down there. And as she's trying to help this young wolf, Ryan, she argues with the alpha. And she was assuming that he is just like the monster that she saw fighting and that he just wants to kill Ryan. Like, she's like, haven't you done enough? Like, how dare you? And the alpha, again, is like, you don't know what you're talking about. And he makes it clear then that he's like, this guy is in my clan. Like, I can tell him what to do because I'm his alpha. And Aurora is like working with the alpha then to try and fix Ryan's dislocated shoulder. The alpha also insinuates that he doesn't plan on being kept there for much longer. How so? What do you mean? Alluding to a potential escape plan that Aurora doesn't think is going to be possible. She's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever you say, I guess. But then we get our first little spicy scene of the book when a woman who is actually from the brothel comes in to the kennel and tries to like entice her way down the aisle of the kennels and then ends up fucking another wolf while Aurora watches it happen. And she honestly starts to have a panic attack because she's picturing what Lord Sebastian said was going to happen to her the night of their wedding. So she's like, oh my God, like I'm intrigued and I'm like slightly turned on by this, but also I don't want that happening to me with Lord Sebastian. Like, ew, no. Yeah. So maybe she felt a little bit trapped in her life before, but now it's clear things are going to get substantially worse if she stays and gets married to Lord Sebastian. Not good choices here. And so then we see the alpha talk to her in an effort to try and help her calm down. Like he can tell, like, wow, she's really worked up about this and like freaking out a bit. And so he's helping her, and we're like, okay, all right, you're a good guy, I guess. And then before she leaves, the alpha promises that Sebastian will not touch her. And Aurora comments like, well, he's going to be my husband. He's going to have to touch me. He's going to be my husband. And the alpha just responds that he isn't. And you're like, oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Okay.
What you got going on for me, Wolf Daddy? Hey, hey.
Exactly. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I like it. I like it. And so in the middle of the night, Aurora wakes up to find a few wolves in her room, including Mangus. Also fucking Mangus. We don't want him around. Magnus? Jeez, this is my problem. I should not be allowed to say Scottish names because my brain does not register them correctly.
It's funny because my dog's name is Magnus, so I kept reading this and I'm just like, my dog's in the book, guys. So funny.
Okay, so Magnus,
there you go.
who shows up and makes it very clear he wants to sexually assault Aurora. Not what you want to wake up to. Also, in my mind, this man is not attractive. He is like creepy, dirty, gross. Ew. Anyways, so then the alpha shows up, and we don't know his name for a while in the book, which I think is really interesting. And he prevents these wolves from doing anything to her. But however, he makes it very clear while he won't do anything sexually to her, like the other wolves are planning, he is going to take her with him. And she can either go willingly or he can overpower her. And I'm kind of like, what if he overpowers you?
And it's like, what does option 2 look like?
I need more details. Like, is it you knock me out, or is there overpowering that happens and I end up with my back on a bed? Just like,
am my hands gonna be tied up or tied back?
Behind me? Like, what's going on?
What's happening here?
But it's her choice. And so at this point, she's like not on board with like going with him, even though I think staying with Sebastian sounds way worse in my opinion. But
yeah,
he ends up taking her with him. During the escape, he fights off some guards. We hear Lord Sebastian yelling about how the guards need to find Aurora because she has no value to him without her virginity intact. And I was fucking furious at this point because I'm just like, let me get this straight. Lord Sebastian, I assume you are not a virgin and you have had sex with who knows how many people. But
probably bad at sex too, by the way.
And probably bad at sex, considering, especially since he's like, doesn't seem to like doggy style. So,
like, that's great. What are you talking about?
Unless you're doing it wrong, I guess.
I guess he is.
But I'm just like, why is there so much value placed on a woman's virginity? Like, it makes me so angry. Anyways.
So dumb.
The alpha gives Aurora a choice. She can run now, and he won't follow, or she can go with him, and he promises no one will touch her. And I'm just like, okay, you are giving her a choice. This is the first time she's probably had a choice in her life. But also, it's like cold. Where is she going to go and run to?
Yeah.
Like, she's the princess. If she runs up by herself, she's probably going to die.
Yeah.
So, and Aurora sees like, well, it's not really much of a choice either because it's like two monsters. I stay with Sebastian, or I run, or I go with Callum, who I think is a monster because he kills other people and supposedly eats princesses for dinner, which he does, just not the way she's thinking. But he also makes it clear that once he gets what he wants by holding a ransom, he'll set her free. And so freedom is very powerful to her. And that's what makes her go with the alpha. It reminded me a lot of Odessa in Shield of Sparrows.
Yes. Absolutely. Had those vibes, for sure. So then the rest of the wolves are not pleased at all that this alpha has now kidnapped the princess, and Fergus strongly believes that she needs to be left behind. But the alpha insists, no, he's taken her to their king, and it's not up for debate. So he's the alpha, he tells them to shut up. They have to listen. While some of the wolves then were intentionally captured and planned to escape, kidnapping the princess was not part of their original plan. So it's important to note that the alpha comments on how he's taking the princess home, which we assume at this time means like his home, but it ends up having like a much bigger meaning at the end of the book. And again, starting to kind of wonder, does he know a little bit more about her heritage than he originally let on? And honestly, in my mind, I was like, I figured it out. I figured out that
Like
twist. Like, I got it.
Like she has to be a wolf, right? Like she
She
has
has
to
to
be
be
part
part wolf.
wolf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Gotta be. And so then during their journey, we start to learn a little bit more about Aurora's past. So she was sick as a child, like a lot. And they thought she might die of like the same illness that killed her mother, which was supposedly related to bad blood, according to the high priest. But Aurora also believes that her father and Sebastian later will send a search party after him. So it's only a matter of time before everybody finds her and she gets caught up. But again, the whole like she was sick as a kid, had the same illness as her mother. And I'm like,
Huh.
I have a feeling I know where this is going,
I do too.
but I want to find out more.
Exactly. So when they stop to rest, the alpha makes it clear that he will chase her if she runs. And I'm also like, could she run? Why don't you run? Oh no, catch me.
Woo. Catch me.
And then he ensures that Ryan gives her food and water. And Ryan's like okay with being around Aurora because in his mind, right, like she saved his life. She came down to the kennels to help him. But his companion, Becky, who he got captured trying to get out of the castle, apparently. This is how a lot of this shit started. Doesn't like her because Aurora is human. I get that. And so then Magnus shows up again, mentioning how Aurora can keep him warm and she might be able to use her mouth. I'm like, do you know anything besides sexual harassment, dude? Like, do you?
Yeah.
Do you? Because every word out of your mouth has been something sexual, not in like a good way. It's very unwanted. And then the alpha shows up again and sends him off with some whiskey. So apparently, like, the number one way to get werewolves to leave you alone is to give them booze. But we then realize with the alpha's protection, Aurora is going to be in danger just traveling with them. So he has the two of them leave in the middle of the night to finish the journey on their own. And then that's when we learn that this group is not all from the same clans, because we've not really gotten depictions prior to this of what color they were all wearing. And while
like a little bit where it's like someone like Magnus is wearing like green,
yeah,
and the alpha is wearing red, and Ryan's wearing red. Like that's how like, we kind of. That's it. We're like,
okay. Is there more?
Who else?
So while apparently some of the wolves will respect his status as the alpha of a clan, not all will, such as Magnus. And if the alpha is challenged by someone like Magnus, then he has to kill him, which will cause problems in the delicate balance between the wolf clans. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound great.
No.
Okay, then we learn the story of the elder wolf. And when I first read it, I was like, why am I being told this story? And then, like, when I got later in the book, I was like, damn it, I need to go back and reread that story. So, quick rundown. The moon fell in love with the elder wolf because of his strength and will to survive. Some believe the moon was a wolf. Others believe she merely favored wolves. When the Northlands were invaded, the elder wolf was seriously injured. The moon left her post in the sky to come to him, even though that was forbidden. So we got forbidden love even in this little old tale. Yeah. She shared her power to him, allowing him to transform and heal and seek vengeance on those who tried to kill him. So I did have a question about this because I'm like, so why was he the elder wolf if he couldn't shift to a wolf until she shared her power with him?
Right? Yeah.
I have questions.
And it's like, I didn't understand it either.
So it was a blessing to be able to turn into a wolf. But when the sun found out about it, she's vengeful. And she's out to punish both of them. The moon's banished, given to the god of the night. There's someone else that is described a little bit that way in this book. To be locked within his prison in the sky. I mean, that doesn't sound horrible. And then the elder wolf has his wolf cage only to come out on a full moon. But the sun underestimated the moon's love because the moon ripped out her heart, sent it down to earth so the elder wolf could always be close to her power and transform whenever he wanted. But then the elder wolf had the heart of the moon until the sun led men to him, humans, and he was killed. So then the moon's heart was stolen, and that's what they're searching for now. It's called this heart of the moon, and they believe it will give wolves the power to shift whenever they want so they can win the war against the humans. And I was
also,
like,
cue the song Dark Side of the Moon.
Right?
That's all I could think of. I was like, the moon. I was just like, elder moon.
I know. So I have lots of questions about this. I had to just like dissect
Yes.
it later after I read it the first time because I was like, wait, I think this is really important.
Yes. Yes. There's also legit like a movie my kids have watched on Hulu that's like about like a wolf and he like is looking for like the moon crystal that helps him like
Ooh.
transform. And it's like it made me think of this in a not spicy version, you know. I was like, huh,
In a
okay, like you gotta
kid-friendly
get the moon
version.
crystal. Yeah, gotta get the moon crystal so you can change into a wolf. Okay, okay, cool.
Huh.
But it's fun. It's a fun little setup, and we're like, okay, I'm seeing some parallelisms between the moon and Aurora and the elder
Hmm.
wolf and
Huh.
Oh. So we'll get to theories. But for now, Aurora and the Alpha are traveling and they stop for the night. Aurora is less than impressed by the fact that she has to sleep on the ground. And I'm like, well, yeah, she's a princess. Like, let's be real. She's been catered to her whole life.
She's like
Doesn't want
us.
to
She
sleep on the
doesn't
ground.
like camping either.
We don't like it. We're like, don't, I'm not going to sleep on the ground. It's not going to
No.
happen. And she at least assumed there'd be like a tent for her or something. She's really not used to roughing it. And she's just like, no. Interesting tidbit though here. We learn that she tends to heal very quickly. Breadcrumb for sure for what we find out later about her in the book. I'm like, she's part wolf. She's gotta be. She's gotta be. Who else can do this?
Right?
People don't just like heal naturally like that. So anyway, but fun little thing here. She is forced to sleep next to Callum, the alpha. You're like, oh, darn. I have to sleep next to this big hunky guy. Boo. Sign me up.
That's
I
how
will
we would
sleep on the
be.
ground. I'll sleep on the ground next to Callum.
Yeah.
That's fine
Right?
with me. That's okay. And he finally shares his name with her. He's like, oh, my name is Callum. But he like goes deeper into it. And you're just like, hi,
Hi.
hi, hi. You're so dreamy. And Aurora, at first is like clutching her pearls, like, oh, sleeping next to someone that's not my husband. Oh my. But also she's kind of like really happy that she doesn't have to sleep next to the guy that would have been her husband because like Sebastian sucks. So no, thank you. But Callum did technically fulfill his promise of not letting Sebastian touch her. So we're like, that's a win. Okay. And so she goes to sleep next to him. And when she wakes up, she's being held by Callum, like snuggly, which kind of freaks her out. But I'm like, no, snuggle in. Lean into that. And it's
Wiggle your butt a
interesting.
little bit.
Wiggle your booty, see what happens, see what wakes up. But it's interesting because, like, again, she's been raised to believe that wolves are monsters and she should not be touched by anyone that's not her husband. And also should definitely not be touched by a wolf. Like, that's major no-no. But she just keeps feeling this, like, odd pull to Callum. Like, she just cannot. He's like catnip, wolfnip.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
wolfnip. I love it.
I love that.
And then we learn that the Wolf King is the king alpha of all the alphas. So like Callum's an alpha, but like Wolf King is like mega alpha. And that is who Callum plans to take Aurora to go see. So the wolves are only united right now behind a Wolf King because they were initially like losing this war to the humans. So they needed to get together to like rally everyone. That's how we have a Wolf King. And Callum won't say much more then about the Wolf King, except that he's all right. He's okay. And we start theorizing about who he might be. At first, I'm like, is Callum really the Wolf King?
That's what I
Like,
thought too.
I was like, is this like a Shield of Sparrows thing where it's going to turn around and be like, it was you
The
whole
entire time. Yeah.
It was, yeah. So I'm like, oh, maybe. I started to think he was. But then we find out later that Callum can smell Aurora's fear. And he can like sense the repulsion that she has of her father and Sebastian when he was in the fighting ring. So like he can like, sense all these things like, okay, she doesn't like these other humans. Like she does not like what was happening to us. And he also knew that she didn't like it when they got told to go down into the kennels. Like she did not like the word, which is true. I'm like, yeah. Don't do that. And he even says like he knew that she had fire in her soul and thought if he roughed up Ryan a little bit, that maybe Aurora would take pity on him and then like try and save him. And it totally worked. His plan totally worked. And then this ties back to when Aurora first saw Callum and how she felt his eyes on her, like he was watching her. It's like, yes.
Because he
Yes.
was.
He was watching her.
All right. So when they get to the castle, Callum reminds Aurora, or Rory, as he likes to call her.
Which made me think of Gilmore Girls.
It did too. So it was a little hard at first, but then I got kind of like got into it. I was like, oh, cute.
Yeah.
We do like little cute nicknames.
That's cute.
So he promises that no harm is going to come to her. They run into Fiona, and this is, I love this because Colin like kind of skirts the truth. He's like, Rory was one of Sebastian's prisoners. And I'm like, I mean, kind of.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes. I mean, not also full truth, but we'll let slide. And then Rory gets jealous of how Colin like gives Fiona a hug and assumes it's his wife, which like Colin's like, wait, are you jealous?
Yeah.
Which is we do love that. And then everyone else they meet, like in the courtyard, is not fond of Rory because she's human. And lots of their
immediately
families
they can smell her. She's like,
yeah.
Ew.
And not because she's stinky. I mean, I'm sure there's probably
No.
some of that too, but they can smell her human on her. And then a lot of their families were killed by humans. So they kind of have similar to you, like you see in the human kind of world, they dislike all wolves and vice versa. And then Colin explains that he didn't tell Fiona the truth about Rory because wolves have great, exceptional hearing, and everyone would have heard her true identity. I think that's something to remember throughout the book about like who's overhearing what conversations. But
Yes.
he's hoping he can present her to the Wolf King before everyone finds out that she's a princess. And he also insinuates that the Wolf King owes him. So that's one reason why he's confident no harm will come to her. And I'm like, why does he owe you, Colin? Like, what did you do?
And now
Questions.
I'm starting to think he's not the Wolf King.
Correct.
I'm like, oh, damn it. There goes that theory. I'm like,
So then I thought it might be his dad at this point because we don't know his
Yeah.
father's dead. And I was like, oh, I bet it's his dad. And I bet he's like the
Mhm.
Wolf Prince.
yep.
So next we meet Isla?
Isla?
Isla? I don't know. We meet this bitch.
I love hearing you try to commit names.
Because it's funny, right? I don't listen to
I'm
audiobooks,
entertained.
and so I just like to, in my mind,
It's Isla, like Isla Fisher, like the actress.
and see, but that's a pretty name, and she's a bitch in this book, so I don't
know,
want to give
I know,
her a
she's
nice
not
name,
good. I know.
right? It's
I
why
know.
Isbeth became Isbitch.
That's true. That's true.
So this woman has the hots for Callum and is not pleased to see Rory there, and Callum insists that she dress her like Rory in clan colors, and she's just like, that's not allowed. But she can't argue with him because he's the alpha. But it's definitely a problem that this woman is going to be a major problem in the future. And I cannot wait for her to get what's coming to her. I think she's still owed some more, but
Yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure. And now we finally get to meet the Wolf King. But sort of. Because the meeting with the Wolf King doesn't go as expected because James is not there. And James is named the Wolf King. And he leaves this guy, Robert, his second in charge, who happens to be from Magnus's clan. And we're like, great. Great. This is going to go so well. So Robert wants to know why Callum brought Rory there and does not buy the lie about her being a kitchen maid. He's like, oh, she's a scullery maid, like, no, not buying this. In fact, Robert then suggests that, you know what, Rory then can warm his bed, which immediately angers Callum. He's like, no, not gonna happen. And then Blake comes in and like comments that Callum should be allowed to keep his pet. And I'm like, I don't know if that's like a good thing, sexy thing.
I don't know. But also, why pet?
Why pet? Yeah.
I think there's a reason for that. I don't know what it is yet, but I think there's a reason he refers to her as a pet and a rabbit.
Yeah. So Robert agrees as long as Rory can earn her keep. And Callum then makes it clear that Rory is under his protection and they leave the room. So you're like, okay, well, she's a pet, but she is protected. So sure.
Okay.
Turns out this guy, Blake, is actually the most dangerous male in the Kingdom of the Wolves. And we're like, oh,
okay.
I kind of like that. I'm okay with that. Tell me more, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to know.
Please tell me more.
Yeah. So he apparently has the power to help Callum and Rory, or he can destroy them. So I'm like, okay, let's be on his good side then. So that's why Callum then needs to speak with him tonight at the feast, and Rory will need to come with him. So Blake's character honestly just gives us major Rysand vibes from the first ACOTAR book, where you're like, I know I'm not supposed to like you, but now I kind of do.
I'm
But
intrigued.
you're a bad guy. You're like the bad
Like,
boy.
you're the
But
bad boy. So
it's like,
I'm clearly interested.
so I'm clearly like, we got problems because we're like, hi, I like you. But then I'm like, I'm starting to get confused because I'm like, wait, who am I supposed to like? Am I supposed to like Callum? Am I supposed to like Blake? Like, do I like both? Are we doing a white choose? Is this what's happening?
Is this where this is gonna go?
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. It does not in this book.
It doesn't. It does. I mean, I do hate that. It does not go there, but
But Blake, he intrigues me.
it does.
He very much so. Okay. So Rory's adamant that she's not going to the feast because she does not have enough time to prepare herself or the necessary supplies to get ready. And I'm just like, girl, you're in a castle with a bunch of wolves. You are like, yes, you are a princess, but like, you need to get out of princess mode. Like, no one here cares about the glitz and the glamour of your previous life. Like, legit. So, and Callum is like, you're coming, or I'm going to tell everyone else about our sleeping arrangements last night. And she's like, once again, clutching her pearls. You wouldn't dare. Which I love because, like, I feel like there's probably half of this book, maybe 60%, every time he says something like somewhat sexual to her, she's like intrigued, but then she acts like she's clutching her pearls, like, how dare you? And I'm like, I love it. He also offers to help her take a bath, which I'm like, you should take him up on that. She does not this time.
No.
All right. So let's talk about what happens at the feast. Callum and Rory are at the alpha table, and she's like surprised. She was like, I thought we were trying to keep my presence quiet. And he was like, if I don't sit at the alpha table, that's way more noticeable. Like,
yeah,
everyone's gonna be like, what's going on? Isla.
You can
the
do
woman
it.
I don't like. No, I can't.
You can call her Is bitch if you want.
Isla bitch. Maybe we'll call her Isla bitch. Because I don't like saying a pretty name with someone who has such an ugly heart. Ugh.
I know.
But she's like watching Rory, giving her like dagger eyes throughout the feast, right? She's just like, and I'm like, what has Rory done to you? Showed up with like the man that you apparently want that you never had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grow up.
Get
over it.
So we also learn Blake is an alpha and happens to make anyone who questions him disappear, which should turn me off, does not, turns me on, gives me I'm like, tell me more.
I'm like, take me as your prisoner.
Right?
Here, take me.
Hi. There are 7 clan colors at the feast. Callum's is red, Blake's is black. The original group that Callum and Rory were traveling with hasn't come back yet, but Callum has sent someone out to go look for them. And when it's time to talk to Blake, Callum reiterates to Rory that he will tell Blake that she's his prisoner, even though he's like, I don't see you that way. And I was like, okay, I'm getting major, like, under, Core of Nightmares vibes. Like, when Rysand was like, with Farah, like, oh, leave this in my lap and pretend all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Just
Niktos
play
and
along.
Sarah, like, in the beginning of, like, a light in the flame, you have to pretend.
Mm-hmm.
But they go into this private room to speak to Blake, and we're gonna do some more pearl clutching because there's a couple in the midst of like some other sexual action. I'm not really sure like what exactly was happening, but someone was having a good time. With not enough details for me to figure out exactly what was going down.
Yeah.
But Blake makes it clear that he knows that Rory is the princess and that Callum intends to trade her for the heart of the moon. So he's like, I know exactly who you are.
Damn it, Blake. He's mysterious and hot.
And knows
smart.
things.
And knows things.
Shit.
Damn it. I love a good shit. I was going to say sugar daddy, but he's a shadow daddy, but he's just like, I can't. It's me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem.
Give us the bad boy that is going to kill everyone and we should not trust. And we're like, can we have some more?
Yes, please. Round 2. Okay. So then Callum asks Blake to help ensure that Magnus keeps Rory's identity a secret. And I'm like, this feels a little bit like making a deal with the devil. Like, we already know that like Blake is like the most like not fearsome, but like he's the one you should not trust in the wolf world. And you're like asking him to do you a favor. I'm like, that's not going to work out for you in the end. I feel like this is bad. So Blake is then like, okay, sure, but she has to stay in a chamber in the Western Tower, which really pisses Callum off, and we don't exactly know that why. And I'm thinking, like, is this Blake's room, like, with him? But he claims it's so that both of them can keep an eye on her. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's fair. Like, she gets to at least, like, have her own room, so that's nice.
Yeah.
But Blake then is poking the bear. He's like really trying to get under Callum's skin. He's like, he like literally insinuates that Callum is likely to fuck Rory at some point, which will be a problem since most noblemen want their brides untouched and they even check for it.
Ugh.
Of course, Sebastian would do that. Of course, he
Of
would.
course, right?
Naturally. So then Rory, being a badass now that she is, stands up for herself and questions if her opinion factors into the equation at all. She's like, do I have a choice? Like, let me speak for myself. And then she demands to have her own chambers so that she won't lose her value to Sebastian. And Callum agrees, but only under one condition. He's like, and I'll tell you this condition once we get upstairs. And I'm like, ooh, okay. And Rory's got this feeling that she's not going to like whatever it is. And
But I thought we might.
But like, we will. We will.
We might like it.
Okay. But I'm like, good for you, girl, for standing up and getting your own room. But what's this condition? I want to know. And then Blake also mentions that Callum should challenge Robert because Callum is second in command. And Blake wants Callum to obviously play the game of politics. But Callum's like, I don't care about power. I'm not into this. But you just know that Blake is there trying to stir the pot. I know first, like right there, I'm like, you can't trust this guy. But I like it. So then once Callum and Rory are alone in the room, they find out it's already been prepared for her with clothing and her size. And it's as if Blake knew this was going to happen, basically. That man is playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. He just knows what's going on. And Callum tells her that if she can't agree to his one condition, then she's just going to have to share a room with him, with Callum. And I'm like, well, that's okay. And that should initially cause her to, again, like clutch her pearls. But she starts to think about it. And she starts to like think about maybe sitting on his lap and like what that would feel like. And it's like, oh girl, those hormones are starting to kick in. You're starting to feel yourself in this wolfy presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Callum tells Rory about the one condition, wearing a collar or a necklace. I imagined it like a choker.
Yeah.
That signifies that she's spoken for, that she's his. So under wolf law, if she's wearing it, like she will not be harmed. Unsurprisingly, Rory is not on board with wearing a collar. I think she's like against like the phrase collar in general too.
Yeah.
But
the act of being like owned by somebody.
Which I'm just like, 24 hours ago, you were owned by your father and Sebastian.
Yeah.
Who didn't care about you. He's at least trying to help you.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating to Callum because wearing that collar will give her freedom. Like she could be able to wander around the castle if she wants and do a variety of different things. But if she refuses, then she has to be with him 24/7. I'm like, wait a second, let's refuse. Let's refuse. Tell me more about this.
Let's sleep in his room. Let's sleep in his room.
Exactly. And this is also the point where she tries to like push him away. Like he's going to go to breakfast. She's like, I'm coming. And he's like, no, you're not. And she like goes to push him. And then she has like this strong reaction to touching him. And we see his irises change shape. So that felt like another like breadcrumb about who she is and like this potential like connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
So Fiona brings Rory breakfast. And she's like, I'm not supposed to tell you that Callum told me to bring you breakfast. And I'm just like, you're a good guy and you don't even want to take credit for it.
Yeah.
So he is like an alpha werewolf with a soft side. So I'm here for that. But during this conversation, we learn that Callum is frustrated by Rory because she won't do what he tells her. And that's hard for him because he's used to people like listening to him since he's the alpha. And I'm like, yeah, then it sounds like you need someone that doesn't do what you want. Sounds like she's perfect for you.
Yeah. She needs to push your buttons.
Exactly.
Or remove them.
Or both at the same time.
Ooh.
So Fiona also mentions how the collar has a high cost for Callum too, but she won't elaborate on what it means. And so I started, of course, going down like theory land. I'm like, does it mean that like once he gives it to Aurora, he can't give it to someone else? Like, is there something more to it? And then Fiona suggests that Aurora wear the collar so she can have more freedom and protection, especially since the full moon is coming. And I'm like, ooh.
Ooh, what happens on a full moon?
Right? Besides the shifting in werewolves, tell me more.
And then I had a question of like, is there a leash that goes with this collar?
Is this like a sub-dom relationship that we didn't see coming?
We haven't gotten into that trope yet. Oh my. But first, refusing to wear the collar, of course. Rory's like, no, I'm not wearing that. No. So she refuses, and she spends the next few days alone in her room. And Callum stops by every morning, and people stop by and they bring her food. And during this time, she, just like is walking around her room, like checking it all out. And there's like lots of just medical books left in her room. And she's like, I guess I'll read. I got nothing else to do. So she's just flipping through all of these books. And then she learns from Fiona that Ryan and the others still are not back yet. And she gets a little bit worried because she liked Ryan and she wanted to help him. And Callum apparently can't even leave to go search for them because he's worried about her. He's like, I have to protect you. Like, you're not protecting yourself, so I have to be here and I can't go search for everybody. So because of that, she decides to wear the collar. And the second he sees her wearing it, the most noticeable reaction ever. He's just like, oh my God. I think he loves it. I think he's just like in it.
Mine. Yeah.
Mine. Yeah. And he starts to go over the ground rules that she'll be expected to follow while she's wearing it. Basically, she just needs to do what he says, because if she doesn't, then that's going to make him look weak, and that'll put her in danger. So he promises he won't make her do anything that's going to cause her harm or compromise her morals. You sure about that? And that she will be his and that he will be hers. And that he'll take care of her as long as she's with him. And he makes it clear that people will think that her wearing this collar means that he's hiding something about her. So he's like, we can't let anybody think that. So we got to be really careful about this. He's like, or they're going to think that we're intimate and that you're my mate. Oops.
And I'm like, but what if she is?
But what if she is? She could be.
So finally, Ryan, Mangus, right? Yeah.
Magnus.
Magnus. Oh my God. Ryan, Magnus, and the others arrive back. Ryan is seriously injured. He's taken by Callum and Rory to the healer, who happens to be Blake. Did not see that coming.
Did not see that coming.
So it turns out Ryan isn't healing because he's been hit with something called wolfsbane, which is one of the things that Rory was reading about in these books that were mysteriously left in her room, which make it very clear that Blake is the one that left them, and he did it very intentionally. And I was like, damn, this man is good at chess. And then they find a note on Ryan that's written to Aurora from fucking Sebastian, calling Ryan a present for her and how he'll be seeing her soon. And I'm like, I don't, like, what? You hurting him is a present to me because you didn't kill him? Like, how is that a present?
At this point, I'd be like tightening that collar. I'd be like, no, I don't want you to go back to that. No, thank you.
I'm like, is this how when Isbitch sent Castile's finger to Poppy, she was like, here is a gift. I was just like, no, you need to work on your gift-giving skills. You suck at this.
Yes, go to Target like everyone else.
Right. Literally, Amazon. There's tons of places. Local, buy me books.
Right, yeah.
Hello.
Go to Miss Willa's bookshop and get me a book there, please.
Please.
That'd be great.
Not an injured werewolf. That's not what I want.
No.
So later that night, Rory's been walking around alone comfortably from all the horseback riding that she did on the journey there, and Callum offers to give her a massage to help with the pain. Initially, she was appalled by the thought of like laying on her bed while he touches her, and I'm like, we should not be appalled by this. We should be very excited by this. But she gives into the idea when he equates it to being similar to how a healer helps a soldier after battle, and I'm like, okay, sure. And this is completely off topic, but this is what it reminded me of. One time at Disney World, we were in line for Tower of Terror, and there is a little kid, he's probably like 7 or 8, and he's terrified. And his mom's like, it's just like Haunted Mansion. And I was like, me and my kids were like, oh my goodness, it's not. Oh.
You're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad time.
It's not going to go well.
Man. This is not going to go well. Right? But that's what I thought of here. I'm like, yeah, sure it is. This is going to turn in just like a healer helping a soldier after battle. Uh-huh. Because there's zero sexual tension between the two of you.
Zero.
So during this massage, Callum does start to share more about his father, how he was jealous and possessive, and that's not who he wants to be. We also learn his father's dead, so I know he can't be the Wolf King at this point. And he doesn't like the collar because it's a symbol of dominance. He wants to be equal with the woman he's with. I'm like, literally, Aurora, this is like the perfect man for you because no other man would treat you equal in this whole freaking world, including among the wolves that we've seen. And Rory starts to get turned on. I think it's the first time she's really like had those feelings. And it's like a combination of what like Callum is saying and then also the way he's touching her. And so he can smell her arousal, which reminded me of Kieran.
Yeah. Like,
and I was, hey. And like his body stiffens, his iris have changed shape, and she knows now she's like looking into the eyes of a wolf. And Callum keeps like, you're safe, nothing's gonna happen. I can't change into a wolf, but my eyes can change like this whenever he gets emotional. And I was like, when you say emotional, do you mean aroused?
Yes.
Because
what kind of emotion?
What kind of emotion are you feeling right now? Could you share with the team? So
he's hungry like the wolf.
He is very hungry for something. So is Rory, because she's now fantasizing about him kissing her or like having him touch her. And then Callum's like, I need to leave. I don't trust myself right now. And I'm like, damn it.
Oh my God, I love it. He's like, I need a minute. I got it.
But you know what? Think about, was it only between us when they're in the hotel, right? And Brooks and Sienna, she's giving him a massage because she helps with her mom's arthritis. And then he needed a minute afterwards. He's like, you need to stop touching me. I need a minute. And she's like, why?
Hi.
Why do you think, Sienna? Same reason. He needs a minute.
You need a minute. You need a minute. So then the next day, or not next day, but a little bit later, Rory ends up getting a job because she has to earn her keep. And she's peeling potatoes with Mrs. McDonald. And Mrs. McDonald apparently is like a fearsome woman. You do not want to get on her bad side. She's like, she runs that ship, you know? She'll like hit you with the batter, you know? So, but because she has to do this, she is going to spend less time with Callum because she has to be in the kitchen. So Mrs. McDonald at first is not the biggest fan of Rory because she's human, number one. And number two, she's incompetent in the kitchen. She's like, you don't even know how to peel a potato. Like, what is wrong with you? And she's like,
princess.
I'm a princess. Hello.
Like,
but she can't say that. Yeah. So it's really funny. She's like, how do I do this thing? And honestly, same. That's how I feel in the kitchen. I'm like, what am I doing? Huh? I don't know what to do. I fail. I don't camp. I don't cook. I just sit there. I'm just a pretty face. I'm like, hi, honey. I love you. I can't help you. Oh, God, I love my husband. Thank God he loves me because I'm useless. But anyway, back to Rory. Mrs. McDonald, again, not the biggest fan of her. And now we find out that Callum has actually been avoiding Rory because it's getting closer to the full moon, which, according to Fiona, means it brings more of their animalistic instincts out, like hunting and fucking. Yes, please.
Yeah.
So thank you. So then it's the full moon, and Rory's told to stay in her room and do not come out for any reason. And apparently Callum and the others will be at a ritual to welcome the moon goddess. And as expected, Rory does not listen. And she leaves her room because she hears somebody screaming. So she's like, is that Ryan? Like, I need to help him. But no, it's not Ryan. It's Blake. And he is just covered in sweat. And like, he's still in his human form. So you're like, what? Why is he not in his wolf form? That's weird.
Yeah.
And he sees Rory and he tells her to run. He's like, you need to run. And I'm like, oh boy.
Oh.
Is doggy style about to happen? Like, what's going on? And then he starts shifting into a wolf, like right in front of her. And she's like, oh shit, I need to run. Okay. And then Blake is chasing Rory out into the forest. And she tries to like reason with his wolf, like, this isn't you, like, it's me, you know me, like, calm down. And then Callum shows up and he's also in his wolf form. And Blake ends up biting off part of Rory's cloak and like just takes off with it. And you're like, what? Why?
That was weird, right?
That was very strange and strategic. Like, And then Callum finally like calms down and like lies down with Rory and like lies on top of her, like claiming her. But he's in his wolf form. And so I'm trying to imagine like to get this like big dog off of you. You're like, stop it. Get off. Move.
They're all lap dogs.
They're all lap dogs. Yeah. Lap dogs that are not actually big lap dogs. And literally forces her to sleep in the woods with him on top of her. Oops.
Not in the way we want. But
not the way we want.
We'll take it. So the next morning, she wakes up and Callum is naked because he has shifted back into his human form and he has no clothes on. And she is definitely not clutching her pearls right now and interested in what she sees.
She's like,
"That's
what's that?
Hello."
Hello.
That's also when Callum shares that Blake did not try and kill Rory last night, which is what she thought. He actually chased her into a clearing far away from the other wolves, got his scent all over her so the other wolves can't smell her, and then took part of her cloak with him so if they did, they would chase him instead. Blake was protecting her, and Callum wants to know why. Yeah, so do I, Callum. Like, I was just like, wait a second. And then I started to wonder, did Callum plan not shifting and like do something to keep him from shifting so he would make those sounds so he knowing she would come after him?
Ooh, yeah. Interesting.
Like he's, I think, thinking like 12 steps ahead. So then Callum takes her back to his room because his wolf is feeling rather protective of her. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So now she's like in his bed with the scent of another man on her and he does not like that. And I'm like, well, you brought her in here? And he admits to wanting her to smell like him. And I'm like, how does she smell like you? He wants to mark her. And he mentions he has countless pleasurable ways he could do that. And I was like, could we see some of them? Is there a menu in which I can order? Please.
Yes.
Right?
Select all.
Select all. Exactly. Add to cart. But this does not make her clutch her pearls like it would have in the past. Instead, she admits to liking it when he's being inappropriate. And that leads to Callum bathing her. And I'm like, oh, she's naked in a tub. She like
you
bears
took off
herself
those
to him.
pearls and you threw them across the room, honey. Good for you.
Right? And then you dropped you're naked in a tub. He's like touching her. He's making comments about how it's not really him touching her. It's the washcloth. And I'm like, And I think we're going to get a spicy scene. I'm like so into this. And then fucking Blake walks in and I was like, Blake, you've just killed the mood.
Either join in or don't interrupt.
Or don't interrupt. Like, you know what's going on. You could probably smell it from the hallway. Like, back off. So he has a message from the Wolf King who needs Callum's help. And at first I was like, sure he does. No, he really did. But Blake also pushes Callum's buttons a little bit. He's like, do. Are you wearing the pants to appeal more to Rory? Which we found out later was in fact true. And then
up until this point,
he's
they've
wearing
been wearing kilts. And you're like,
with probably nothing underneath, we've learned.
What's under that kilt, buddy? Nothing.
But then
full wolf is under that kilt.
Yeah. Or that's what we assume.
I hope so.
But then Rory lets Blake have it and assumes he was ashamed of being a wolf. And that's why he was like hiding. And then Blake comes back and pushes buttons right back and asks if she wants to know why her mother really died. And I'm like, motherfucker, do you know? And he's like, I don't really know, but I want to. And I'm like, what do you know, Blake? Like, you just dangled a little carrot in front of the rabbit. Like, what are you doing?
Not cool.
Not
cool.
Not cool, but also
strategic.
I'm like very strategic. I'm very intrigued by the game that he's playing. Like at this point, I'm very, very interested in what he does next.
Very much so. So then when Rory is asleep that night, she has a sex dream. Good for you, honey. And it's about Callum and about being with him in the woods. And another wolf is watching them. And you're like, oh. But then
who did you assume the wolf was?
Right. It's like, was the wolf Blake?
That's what I wondered.
That's what I feel like it was too. So she then wakes up and hears Blake and Callum fighting outside of her door. And Blake tells her to go back inside. And then Fiona shows up and tries to get Callum to calm down because he's not acting like himself. And Fiona then threatens Blake not to say a word about what happened to anyone. And we're like, oh shit. Oh shit. Wait, what just happened? Like,
Yeah.
And then once Fiona and Rory are alone, Fiona then shares that Callum has very clearly become attached to Rory and that his wolf hasn't quite settled in with all this information yet. And his wolf could smell Rory's arousal from her dream. And that caused Callum to like literally want to come and stand guard in front of her door in case any of the other wolves sensed it too and like wanted to take action on it, basically. And he assumed that Blake probably was one of those wolves who wanted to come and, I don't know, take an opportunity that was presenting itself. The other problem here now is that Fiona basically challenged Callum in front of Blake, which is a big deal, considering Callum is an alpha. So they're like, fuck. So if Blake tells anyone that that happened, that like Fiona was like, you need to leave, calm down, and that Callum listened to her, basically, Callum and Fiona would then have to fight it out in public because of the wolf law. And
like
so
to
they're
the
all
death, right?
like, yes. And there's like, fuck. And so not good.
No.
So then later, once Callum has cooled down, he comes to see Rory, apologizes for his behavior, and he's like, I wanted to come and show you that I can be gentle. I'm like, but please don't. Please don't be gentle. And then he finally kisses her.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh. And he comments how he's wanted to do that for a long time. And then we get a nice little spicy scene. Not spicy enough,
no,
but a little spicy.
But we'll take it.
We'll take it. Where Rory basically is grinding on Callum's thigh until she orgasms. And it's like legit her first orgasm. She's like, what is this feeling? Cue Wicked in my mind is like, what is this feeling so sudden and new? And I'm like, oh my. Look at her go. And she has an orgasm. It starts to get a little bit hotter. But then Callum pulls back and says, he's like, I gotta go. I'm like, come on. Just do it. Just get in there. Just
right?
Give in. Go. And she tries to act like she's fine with it. She's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And she's like, yeah, I know it's probably a good idea. Like, you know, like I'm betrothed to somebody else and I'm a princess and you've just taken too many liberties with me now. So I gotta, no. And he agrees, which just breaks her heart further. Because really, she's like screaming on the inside, no, don't go.
Right. And he's like oblivious to all of it.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Blake comes to see her and wants to know why she went with Callum. And I'm like, huh? He also gives her back the silver blade she threw at him previously. And I'm like, I do like girls who are stabby. And he confirms that the room she's staying in used to be his. And it's where he's kept some of his most interesting possessions. And I was like, huh. Yeah.
I'm like, at that point, I'm like, are you calling her possession?
That's how I took it.
Mm-hmm. Like, she ain't yours?
Or is she? I think we're inclined to believe, right, that at least from Fiona, that Callum was coming to stand guard outside of her room. But what if Blake was the one actually standing guard?
Oh, shit. Yeah. What if Blake was already there?
Yeah. So then he drops the bomb that Callum left this morning to go see the Wolf King. So think about this. Like, you're this girl who has never done anything with a guy. You kiss him, you have your first orgasm. He abruptly leaves. You feel like, she probably feels like a ton of shame and like remorse and confusion. And then the next day, he not just leaves, he just like completely leaves the castle without saying goodbye. And I'm just like,
he's just gone.
You're like, gone.
Okay.
She's like, what an asshole.
I didn't know we were in college.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Fuck boys.
Yep. And so I'm at this point, I'm like, I don't know if I can like you. Like,
yeah, right?
I was just like, are you bad? Are you not a good guy?
Are you a fuckboy wolf and not in a good way?
Right. Are you Tamlin?
Ugh.
Right?
I know, I was starting to get worried. I'm like, do we have a Tamlin Ryzen thing going on here?
That's what I wondered.
Maybe.
So, but thankfully she's safe wearing his collar until it goes missing one morning. Because Isla bitch is behind it. It's immediate. Like, I was like, I know exactly where that's hiding. So Rory heads to the Great Hall to deal with Islovich, but she runs into Magnus and some of his disgusting friends, who believe now she's fair game without the without the collar and without Callum to protect her. And I'm like, great, she's going to be sexually assaulted on in the middle of the Great Hall. But then out of nowhere, Shadow Daddy appears and drops his collar around her neck, and then the guys back off. And I'm just like, hold on. How did you do that so stealthily?
Yeah.
And she just notices that it's there, right? And then she wants to take it off, but then he warns her not to do it because he won't offer it to her again. And I'm like, interesting, huh? And he insists that she needs his protection with Callum gone and the others. He also mentions that Callum doesn't have as much support as he thinks. Then he shares a little tidbit about his mom, that she was raped by a wolf and he was the product of that rape. And he sees nothing more deplorable than rape in his eyes. And I was like, okay, so he's alluding to the fact that he's trying to protect her from her being sexually assaulted. I'm like, okay, kudos to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he tells her to come to his chamber at nightfall and leaves. And I'm like, hold on.
These are mixed messages.
These are very mixed messages. What do you want me to do tonight?
Yeah. Huh? And also, I imagine her collar is kind of like a Cinderella collar. Just that
I
black.
did too.
I was like,
I know.
And again, is there a chain? Do we have a leash? I'm not against that. Even though they're the wolves.
Right. Also, why can't we just call it a necklace?
Right? Yeah. Well, because wolf's collar.
I guess that does make sense.
I guess in that sense, they are leaning into their own wolf instinct.
Yeah.
But so then, because Rory is curious and stubborn, and so are we, honestly, she goes to see Blake, but he's not doing well. He's using wolfsbane to make a sleeping aid because he's afraid of storms. Because it's storming outside and he's losing his shit with thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening. And Rory ends up humming a song. It's not Bohemian Rhapsody, to Blake that eventually does help him fall asleep. And you're like, oh, that's so sweet. But it's also a breadcrumb, I think, for something later. So Rory then decides, I'm going to use that wolfsbane potion that you just did to poison Isla. And she's like, this is going to be so much fun. And she's about to, honestly, accidentally give her too much that would actually kill her and not really hurt her. And then Blake stops her. And he's like, I know what you're trying to do here. That's going to kill her. That's going to be bad for you. Don't do that. He's like, maybe try butter because she's lactose intolerant. And it's like, well, shit.
That's easier.
That's easier. And it works. And Isla then suddenly has to run off because she has some loud stomach sounds happening during dinner. And I'm just like, oh, girl, I can relate to that.
Been there.
That's not a good time. That is not fun. I'm like, oh, Aurora, you did her dirty. But
that's not how you earn someone's collar.
No. But, Isla deserved it. She was being a bitch.
She deserved way more.
Yeah. So then Callum comes back and Rory is there waiting in his room. And she makes it very clear that she's super frustrated with him for leaving without even telling her. She's like, how dare you? You didn't even leave a note. And he's like, yeah, I did. I left a note with Isla. And it's like, but he's like, but hold up. What the fuck are you wearing? And he sees Blake's black collar around her neck. And he's like, you need to take that off right now. Take it off. But while he's getting upset about all of this, he collapses because he was shot with a silver bullet. And apparently it had wolfsbane on it too. So Rory's like, oh shit, we need to get Blake for help. Which she doesn't want to really do. And he doesn't want that. He's like, I would rather die. He's like, I'd rather die than have help from him. So
I'd rather die than go to the doctor. Is that such a man response?
My God, seriously. So while they begrudgingly see Blake, Callum is given the antidote and nothing happens initially. And so they're all worried, oh shit, is Callum gonna die? And then Blake's like, let me try something here. Starts to provoke Callum by talking about how he will fuck Rory after Callum dies. And Rory's just like, what are you doing? Don't say those terrible things. But if that's not enough, Blake takes it one step further and reaches over and kisses Rory in front of Callum. And that was enough to make him get up and want to start fighting Blake. I'm like, well, now he's awake. Now he's awake. And you're probably going to die. So, but also I kind of didn't hate the kiss.
Neither did Rory.
Neither did she. She was like, oh, this is confusing.
Same girl, same. So then we finally get to see Callum and Rory talk about their feelings for each other, how he thought about her every hour he was away, and then how Rory was so afraid she was going to lose him when he was almost dying. And then that's when Callum promises he won't leave her again and he'll find another way. Later, he shares he didn't tell her goodbye in person because he was scared. He never felt out of control like that except on a full moon. I'm like, well, that's because she's a wolf too. You just don't know it yet. And then Rory assumes he doesn't want to touch her because then she'll be of no value to Sebastian in the trade. So she's still thinking about like her virginity as this value thing that has to be protected. But Callum admits it's because he promised her he wouldn't touch her. Remember, like in the very beginning, he said, no one will touch you. And how she can't choose him if she's not really free. And I'm like, damn it, you are a good guy.
Damn it.
But then finally, Rory asks Callum to stop being a gentleman. And we get another spicy scene where he goes down on Rory. And I'm like, thank the Lord. So grateful for this.
And she's just like, what are you doing with that?
She likes.
I'm a fan of that appendage.
Yeah, right? And then she tries to touch him back, but he stops her saying like they have a big day tomorrow with meeting the king and he won't take from her, he'll only give. And I'm like, we do like a good giver. And then one day he promises to show her what happens when you touch a wolf. And I was like, when is that day? Can we get it on the calendar? Can you send us a meeting invite?
Yes, please. I will accept that invite. Yes. Let's make it recurring. Repeat.
Correct.
Never ending.
Every day.
Every hour on repeat.
The next morning, Rory goes to return Blake's collar, and he's acting like his usual asshole self. She ends up slapping him, and he smiles, which is kind of like a weird reaction when someone slaps you. She's wearing this white dress to go meet the king, and he suggests that she not wear a white dress because the Wolf King likes his women bold, not dressed like dolls. And I'm like, okay, in this moment, I was like, one of two things. He's actually being helpful. Or he's going to make it way worse. It ends up being, I think, somewhere in between.
Yes. It's like, if only there was a third option. Like, is there a red dress, a sexy red dress she could have worn, maybe?
Or could you say, like,
Callum's colors?
Or could you also, I don't know, be slightly more helpful with the word choices that you use, Blake?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So then it's time to meet the Wolf King. And Rory is second guessing her white dress. At first she's like, I wanted to be like demure, very, Yeah. And she's like, fuck that. I am going to be a badass. And she goes and changes into the black dress. And she decides to make a statement. So the Wolf King enters the room and Rory does not kneel. Everyone else is kneeling. And she fully says, a real princess doesn't kneel to a false king.
I was like, girl, you're going to die.
I was like, you got a death wish. You got a death wish, honey. But also, like, good for you. Like,
good for you.
I'm very happy.
Could you have given Callum the heads up before you did that?
Right?
War might break out.
I think he shit his pants. Or he shit his kilt. So the Wolf King's like, Callum, can I talk to you for a second about this chick? Because, what the fuck just happened? And then it kind of gets revealed that they're brothers. I did not see that one coming. I was like, oh.
Me either.
Okay, brothers. This is going to be interesting. But Blake is very pleased with himself for encouraging Rory to be bold in front of James. And she's like, what the fuck? You led me into doing this. And he's like, well, I didn't mean for you to challenge him on his claim to the throne. He's like, that was a step too far, but I applaud you for that. And it's like, dude, you were so setting this up. Come on, you're playing chess here.
Yes.
But it was so funny to see. And Blake then does share that Callum's father was indeed the first Wolf King. And so when he died, some clans then backed James for the throne, while others backed Callum. But Callum decided to forfeit the challenge, and he just walked away. But by doing that, he also kind of made James look weak because he didn't fight his brother. So James didn't technically like to the death. Yeah, it's like, well, I'm sorry. I don't want to kill my brother and I love you.
Right?
Sorry. But James is like, well, now I look weak and I don't look strong. Blah, blah, blah. So he doesn't love that. So there's already a little bit of tension between the brothers. So Callum then takes Rory to meet James along with Blake. Because, of course, why not? He tags along. And James does not love that Callum kidnapped Rory. He's like, you did not consult me on this. What the fuck? And he's like, and now she smells like you. And he's like, we're not going to be able to even trade her to Sebastian like your initial plan like was because you had her first. Like, and Callum's like, well, that's fine because she's not going to get traded. Like, we're not doing that. It's not happening. And then Rory shares how she actually could be helpful to them since she knows how her father's mind works. And she knows all the defenses of the city. So supposedly now James is okay with Rory staying. He's like, all right, you're like our little spy. Like, sure. He's like, but we'll discuss how you can be useful to us more tomorrow. And you're like, useful?
Yeah.
How?
How? I don't trust you, James.
Mm-mm.
So back at the feast, like Rory does not trust the Wolf King and feels like everyone is staring at her with hatred. I don't know. You just told all of them that he's a false, like the entire room, that the Wolf King is a false king. Huh. And you're human. No wonder they're staring at you. Like, hello. But we do learn a lot here. So Blake has given Magnus and his friends food poisoning, I assume for how they were treating Rory when Callum's collar went missing. He also encourages Rory to drink whiskey. I feel like at this point, he's like the bad friend that's like, you could have another glass of wine. We could get another bottle. Just a little more. You're fine.
It's fine. You're good.
Rory has never really had alcohol. She ends up getting drunk. And then I love this because we went from, pearl clutching to, ooh, I like this, to then she's like telling Callum, she's like, I want you to do that thing to me again. And he was like, I mean, you're drunk. And she's like, no, like, again. And then, like, even mentions, like, about things they could do on the dance floor and stuff. And he's like, you're drunk. I'm worried you'll regret it in the morning. Like, when you're sober, we will talk. And then they end up dancing for a while, but then he has to go talk to Fiona. He kind of, like, leaves, like, the dance floor a little bit abruptly. And Blake asks Rory to dance. And I'm like, what's going to happen here? And then the song starts playing, and Rory's like, I've heard that before. And I'm like, I've been there where you're like, I know this song, like, what is it? And then Blake confirms he was part of the king's guard, but he's not a man of noble birth, but he can dance really well. And he's like, and he basically alludes, like, if she can put two and two together. And I'm like, Blake, I could not. So I'm going to need more information. Yeah. And then Rory finally connects the dots that the song playing is the same one that she hummed to Blake. So I'm like, okay, I see your move. But what I didn't see coming is that it's a well-known wolf melody about the elder wolf and his love for the moon. And I was like, this is when I was like, damn it, I need to go back and read the elder wolf portion. Because I'm like, wait a second.
Yep.
Okay. So then Rory wants to leave, but Blake urges her to stay because she's in danger. And I'm like, of what, Blake? I need more information. Callum shows up and kisses Rory very possessively in the Great Hall in front of everyone, and then carries her out of the Great Hall, which also just further makes everyone assume they're going to go to Fucktown. They do not. He takes her to her room, and he has Ryan guard the door until he comes back. And he's like, Ryan, you owe me one. Do not fuck this up. Do not be spending time with Becky. Do your damn job. And Ryan's
Becky.
like, okay. Wait, Becky. Becky with the good hair.
I know, it's exactly. But also question, where is Fucktown? Can we put this in our GPS?
Like, what is the map to Fucktown? I don't know.
Can I get the coordinates?
But, like, if a man possessively kisses you in the middle of a dance floor in front of everyone and carries you out, I mean, where else do you think you're going?
I would hope.
Anywhere else is a letdown.
Right? She was just like, take me, do that tongue thing again, please.
Please.
But no. Boo.
But no. They actually have bigger problems.
They really do, actually. So I'm like, okay, maybe we should talk. So in the middle of the night, Callum wakes Rory up and has her get dressed. He's like, we need to leave. We need to go. And Blake catches them. But he lets them leave and says, the game is far from over. What are you playing out here, Blake?
Yeah.
What game? Could you
Can I get the
explain the
instructions?
rules? Yes. I'm like, what side of the board are we on? I don't even know. So it turns out James sent a messenger to Sebastian about exchanging Rory for the Heart of the Moon. And Sebastian is now on his way. You're like, So Callum is now going to take Rory to his home in Highfell, which is apparently a week's ride away. So they get out, and on their journey, Callum asks Rory how she got the scars on her back. And she tells him how she was beaten by the high priest who tried to cleanse her of her sin. It's like, what do you mean her sin?
Yeah.
And it's like, she's not having sex. You made it very clear she has to be a virgin. What's her sin? And apparently she also, was sick a lot like her mother. And her sickness was the sin, which again, Rory's like, I don't know. They just told me I was sick and I had to just get beaten all the time. And this infuriates Callum, rightfully so, and makes him promise that no one will touch her again, ever like that. And it brings up some trauma for Rory because she doesn't like talking about it, very clearly.
Who would?
Who would? Yeah. And it makes us wonder, what else has she suppressed over the years? I don't know. Maybe her wolf.
Right?
Maybe. So Callum is confident that if they can stay hidden for just a little while, that James will eventually call off the search for them, because we know James clearly has done that. But instead, James is going to pretend to have Rory to lure Sebastian out and then kill him. We're like, do you think that's going to work? Do you really think that plan's going to work?
I think he did.
I think he did. And James doesn't want to make an enemy out of Callum. So Callum's just like, I think we can do this plan B. Let's see what happens. My brother doesn't want to fight me.
At this point, I'm like, you were not wise.
You were unwise.
You were unwise. Why do you think any of this?
Yes.
Like, you think your brother is a much better man and wolf than he actually is.
Yeah.
This is before I even knew what he did. So they finally stop writing. He has set up a tent for Rory, just like she mentioned when he first took her. And then he confesses to wanting her since he first saw her, like when he was in the fighting ring. And Rory shares how she's nervous because all this is new to her. And we get they're in the tent, they're alone, and they agree for Callum to start telling her what he wants to do. And they'll stop whenever she becomes uncomfortable. And I'm like, yes. And then finally we get a sexy scene. He goes down on her. They have sex. Which is detailed. Then there's mentions of them having sex a couple more times. We don't get the details. And Rory is feeling truly free and happy. This is the thing that she has chosen for herself. So of course we know bad things are about to happen.
It's like, because once you get happy, you're going to have to not be happy.
Correct. So then Blake and more of James's men find her. Blake ends up drugging Rory, knocking her unconscious. Great. When she wakes up, she's being held in a cell. So there's a lot that we learn here. Callum is being held separately from Rory, and I get that. That makes sense. Blake and his men mention something about news from the other continent and how they couldn't find him. And I'm like, what other continent? Who's him? The snowlands are supposedly cold, dark, and they fear the night that spreads. And I was like, we've heard of the snowlands before, because Callum had mentioned them, but they're cold, dark, and they fear the night that spreads. Okay. Blake tells the other man to be careful with Callum because Blake needs him alive. And I'm like, okay, so at least he's not going to die. And then Blake assures Rory that she'll be safe if she plays along with the game, but still won't tell her what the game is. Not helpful, Blake.
Yeah, what are the rules?
Tell us. So Rory lashes out at Blake, assuming he's doing this because he wants to gain favor with James. And I'm like, you are not seeing the bigger picture. You're playing checkers. And then Blake assures her he doesn't want to belong to the wolves. He wants to rule them as Wolf King, which I saw coming. I did not see how he was going to get there, but...
Yeah,
and he
he's
says
playing
that...
a coup.
He's playing a coup, right? Blake says that Rory will be presented with a choice when she sees the Wolf King, and if she chooses wisely, then she will be safe. And I'm just like, and if she doesn't, she'll be dead? Could you tell her which option is the wise option? Could we help a girl out? No.
Yes. Can I phone a friend?
Right? You're right here. Just tell me. Clearly, you've set up this challenge. So Blake takes Rory to see James, and he confirms that Sebastian is on his way. Right. If being held in a cell wasn't bad enough. And James does not care about the heart of the moon. He only wants to hurt Sebastian because we learn that James and Callum's mother was killed and tortured by Sebastian. And he made a fur coat out of her and delivered it to their doorstep. So not only is he a horrible person, he is like vengeful to like the nth degree. And James never told Callum about any of it, like as a way to protect him, I guess. Oh, so Sebastian's
terrible.
worse than we thought, which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah. And then you start thinking about the fur coat that was in her room when he was trying to get her like to flee the castle the first time. He just like grab a coat and he sees a fur coat and you're just like,
Was that
oh,
his mom's?
fuck, right? Like, oh
Ugh.
shit.
Yeah,
And if not his mom, whose? Like that's clearly someone's. And
correct.
it's like, oh God, this is bad. This is bad. This is really, really bad. So James offers Rory two choices. They can go ahead with the trade and fighting will occur. And Rory's chances of survival are low, basically, in that scenario.
Not great.
Or, yeah, right, not great. You're like, okay, option one, that sucks. I'm not a fan. What's option two? He's like, or, we can take something away from Sebastian and you can marry me. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
Normally we like option two. And I'm like, I like none of these options.
Like, is there a third? Is there an option C somewhere, please?
Like,
no. And she's just like, no. Hell no. Hail to the no. She's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to marry you. Which pisses him off, of course. And then it does not help that Rory also mentions how James is only the Wolf King because Callum allowed him to be. And I'm like, fuck. Girl, you know how to stick it to him. Like, first you're saying, I'm not going to bow down to you because I don't bow to a false king. In general, because of like, your dad's the king, whatever. But now you're legit saying that he's not even the real Wolf King because he didn't even fight his brother. It's like, shit.
Like, burn down the world, why don't you? Like,
right? Also, I'm like, you are bold. You are bold.
You do have fire in your soul.
You got fire in your soul, honey, and you've got some cojones on you. Yikes. So, of course, James doesn't love that. He's like, I'm gonna freaking. He orders her to be put back in her cell and make sure she's uncomfortable, which means she's bound in chains hanging from the ceiling. Where have we seen that before?
Yeah. We didn't like it then, we don't like it now.
No. You are only allowed to bind me in chains if it's for sexy pleasure time. Not for torture time. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. So then Blake comes to see Rory, tries to convince her to change her mind because apparently this entire idea of her marrying James came from Blake. And she's just like, what the fuck? I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool, man. Like, why would you do this to me? And he's just like, I don't really care if you marry James. He's like, I don't care. It's all a game. And it's already all in motion. So you choose what side you want. The game's in play. Again, we don't know what this game is. Would you please inform us? And he claims then that he has only lied to Rory once when he said that he knew her from the palace. I'm like, what? Because he's like, that was an educated guess. Like, huh?
So everything else you said is the truth?
Yeah, so I'm so confused. And then Rory is, pissed off, rightfully so, and tries to fight Blake while she's changed, but something suddenly like changes in the air between them. Almost like Blake can like sense something in there. And that night then, Rory is told to bathe to get Callum's smell off of her. And she's taken to see James and refuses, again, his offer of marriage. She's like, fuck you, again. No thanks. And then she tries to offer him another option. But he tells his men, nope, we're going to war. This is what we're going to do. We're going to war.
So now it's time for the big battle between the wolves and the humans that we all knew was coming at the end of this book, right? Like we knew that's where this was going to head. So here's what happens. Rory's forced to ride with James on his horse. She's not loving it as much as she did when she got to ride with Callum. She tries to convince him of her plan, to give her a small weapon and give her to Sebastian. She'll kill Sebastian. And then James can send some of his men to go retrieve her and bring her back to Callum. And I'm like, okay, I love that you have zero training and think that you're going to be able to murder Sebastian. I mean,
Right.
A for
Good luck.
effort, but also, so James refuses her offer because he wants to kill Sebastian himself. I'm like, okay, so we are vengeful.
Mm-hmm.
And then she claims she can't marry James because she loves Callum. And that seems to cause like a shift in James. He gives her a small knife, saying his men are still going to attack. But if somehow you do kill Sebastian, then I'll let you back into my kingdom. And I'm just like, but if she doesn't and he still dies, she can't come back?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's a loophole I don't like.
Right, exactly. And then Sebastian's there waiting with a box, supposedly containing the heart of the moon. It looks like a rock. And his first question when he sees James is whether or not Rory has been deflowered. And James is like, no. And then another wolf who's working for Sebastian like sniffs her and confirms what James says, which clearly he knows is not true.
Yeah.
So then Rory is given to Sebastian. James is hit with an arrow in the shoulder. Like, then like Rory's freaking out, right? And she like kind of, I would say she's like kind of begging or praying a little bit. And then the moon like pushes forward from behind the clouds. And then all of a sudden all the wolves can shift. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. You're like, oh, damn, they're shifting. It's crazy.
Out of nowhere.
And out of nowhere. Yeah. And you're like, is that the heart of the moon? Is that what happened? Like, and then Sebastian takes Rory back to his carriage and they just take off. And he's like, fight, fight. I'm getting her out of here. And he continues to ask Rory if she slept with the Wolf King or that alpha that she ran off with. And he claims that before the night is over, that James and Callum will both be dead and Rory will have his heir inside her. And that everyone will know that she's his. And I'm like, no.
Also, I have a lot of questions. Like, why does this man think that he can have sex with her one time and get her pregnant? Like, that's not how it works. You don't have super sperm. I assume you're really old and creepy.
Yeah.
Also, why is it so important that she has his heir?
Right? Like what?
I get the whole concept, but I feel like there's more to it.
Yeah. Like, this is a very strategic, like, he's playing another game of chess over here.
Yes.
But then he drops a bomb on the chessboard, on everything, that Rory's mom was in fact murdered and that her own father arranged for it. And she's just like, I'm sorry, what? And he's just like, I can't believe you never figured it out. He's like, I can't believe you're so dumb.
I didn't figure it out.
I know. Well, I kind of had a feeling. Although I thought Sebastian murdered her mother. Not the king.
I thought that could be possible. Like, I thought it was someone, I don't think her mom died of natural causes. I thought there's something like malicious in it. I just didn't think it was her dad.
Yeah. So then Rory's like, you know what? Two can play at this game. But sort of. Not really. She decides to try in another way to, win. Because she's like, I don't have the physical strength to overpower him, in that way. So she pretends to be super grateful for Sebastian for rescuing her. She's like, thank you. Like, no one touched me. I am just so grateful you were here. And like tries to like seduce him, basically.
Ugh.
And like, ugh. And you're like, ugh, no, yuck. And like while she's like trying to like get on top of him and like show her thanks, she goes to try and stab him. She's like, hi-ya, like a little too slow-mo. And he just like grabs her wrist and he's like, I wasn't born yesterday. Like, come on. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, yeah, he's a smart dude. He wasn't born yesterday. And he doesn't get stabbed, unfortunately. But the carriage does topple over. And basically they like get hit by something. They're just like flying everywhere. And Rory is then able to stab and kill Sebastian.
Yes.
Yay! Hooray, huzzah! But before he dies, in his final breaths, he makes a comment about how she'll never know the truth and that the night is spreading and it will take you all. And I'm like, so now I'm starting to think, wait, night? Are there going to be zombies? Is there like a weird like Night of Living Dead thing happening here? Is this like Game of Thrones? We have like Night King, Wolf. Ugh.
Yep.
I don't know. But then James shows up in his wolf form and he had like, knocked over all of the carriage and everything. And he bites Rory. I'm sorry.
Why?
Why? Why was that necessary? And she can then feel the life draining out of her. And it's like, fuck, that's not good. And then Callum shows up in his wolf form as well. And him and James fight in their wolf forms. There's like two wolves going at it. And she's just, she got bit. And she's like, oh, fuck, I'm fading. This is not good. But the fight is also not looking so good for Callum either. And then the moon disappears behind the clouds again. And they all shift into their natural human form. And so we're like, okay, now we got a bunch of naked men. And Blake shows up and orders Callum to get Rory out of there now, while Blake holds his hand over James' neck injury. So I'm like, okay, well, James is hurt. Great. But not so great because now we got some crazy shit going on with Rory because she got bit.
So she has a dream about a wolf whimpering, her fur the color of moonlight, and she begs the word to stay with her. And I was like, huh. And then when she wakes up, Callum is watching over her in a panic because he's worried that she's going to die. Blake shows up and starts provoking Rory with his words, like being a real asshole. Because according to Blake, the only way for Rory to survive at this point is for her to stop suppressing her wolf because she's half wolf like Blake. And I thought Callum knew who she was, knew that. He didn't. He's like shocked. He's like, no, she's not. I think if he takes a step back, he's going to realize like I felt this pull, like the pull he's been feeling to her is tied to that. But apparently the bite from James will either force her wolf to fight back or it will kill her. I'm like, great. Cool. It's not working. So then Blake agrees to try something he's read, which is sharing his life force with her, but he's not sure if it will work. And I feel like that sounds like a lie, Blake. That feels like a lie. Callum wants to do it, but Blake's like, there's not enough time to teach you. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. So Blake shares his life force with Rory, and it seems to work. Rory also sees some very interesting images while this is happening that makes me wonder if she's seen Blake's memories.
I think so.
I think so too.
I think she's trying to. And it's kind of interesting because I'm like, is this a joining in a sense, but not sexy?
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. Also, apparently, like, yelling at somebody, like, terrible things will get them to wake up. So, note to self, if you're trying to get somebody to, like, wake up out of a coma or, like, deep sleep, just, like, scream stuff at them that you know would piss them off, and then they'll wake up. I guess it works.
Does that work for teenagers, too?
I don't know, man.
The internet's down?
Yeah. Your social media numbers have plummeted. No! Your Minecraft house blew up. No!
Right?
That would work for my kids.
Xbox no longer works.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people would be very upset if the internet went down.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what happens at the very, very end of this book. So it turns out Blake has been taking some doses of wolfsbane for years. Strategically, therapeutically. So that if another wolf bites him, then it's going to end up it's going to end up worse for the other wolf. And I'm like, that's kind of genius, honestly.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, you're kind of about to kill yourself, but not enough.
Yeah.
Also, it turns out James is not dead. He's just weakened enough to be knocked out for a little bit. So we're going to have some problems there when he wakes up and recovers. The scars on Blake's back were given to him the exact same way that Rory got hers. Because apparently it's an old Southland tradition to beat the wolf into submission. So, like, that's how he immediately knew. Like, he's like, I know what happened to you. I know you're part wolf because it happened to me. You're like, but he does refuse to discuss how he got the scars on his front. So we're like, okay, we know these ones, but not those. Apparently, Blake poisoned Callum's father enough to make him sick so that he could heal him. And that's how he got into the inner circle. I'm like,
he's such a genius. He's an evil genius.
He's an evil genius. Yes. Like, you literally are like, I'm going to put things into motion so that I can get what I want. I'm like, it's kind of smart, dude. And apparently Blake allegedly has no interest in Rory. Or Callum would know it. I'm like, yeah, sure. And Callum was apparently set free by one of Blake's men. And Callum is not happy to hear that James wanted to marry Rory. super not happy to hear who planned it. And the only explanation then for why the wolves shifted was that Sebastian must have actually given up the real heart of the moon. But we get the sense that Rory and Blake don't fully believe that. They're like, I don't know. He's kind of a smart guy. I don't think he would have actually done this. Like, something else may have happened here, but don't really have another explanation for it yet.
So Callum is prepared to kill James for trying to make Rory his and then hurting her. Okay, so the fight to the death is probably going to happen. Blake sharing his life force with Rory has created some unfortunate circumstances because now there's a bond between the two of them. He can feel what she feels and vice versa. And I have a lot of questions about what that's going to mean.
Could that be fun?
Could it be fun? Or is it going to be really awkward? I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
Callum is furious at Blake until he learns that if he kills Blake, Rory will die. Any pain inflicted on Blake will be inflicted on Rory too. And I'm like, you are a fucking mastermind, Blake.
Seriously, so smart.
Blake hates this new connection between the two of them. Sure you do. Blake offers for Callum and Rory to stay at his castle. He'll recruit the outlying clans to support Callum before he challenges James for the throne because he prefers Callum as king. And I'm like, yeah, for a short period of time. And then Callum isn't sure if Rory's going to shift at the next full moon or if what Blake did by sharing his life force with her will prevent it. And I'm like, I hope she can shift. And then when she wakes up in the middle of the night in pain and Callum is gone trying to get Fiona and Ryan out of the other castle, Blake's there with a cup of tea to ease the pain. And I'm like, hold on a second. Are you being nice?
Right?
And then Rory has the epiphany, which is Blake fucking planned all of this. Because once Callum takes the throne, Blake can challenge him, knowing that Callum will forfeit because Rory's life is bound to Blake's. And I was like, fucking checkmate.
Fucking son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. And I'm also I bow down because, oh my God, well done. If that
double mic drop. Just
exactly. That you have earned the Wolf King title.
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly,
Based on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot and steamy. This felt like 3?
Yeah, I'd say 3.
A 3? Okay. All right. So we go to chapter 2. And I debated whether or not this was a spicy scene, but I do think it is because they are actually having sex. It's pretty clear what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we have the woman that's actually from the brothel. She's walking down the little hallway, checking everyone out. She offers herself to Callum. He's not interested. And then
could you imagine she's got a cloak, but she's just like, hello.
You
want one of these?
Right? And then one of the horrible wolves is get over here, I've got something for you. And then basically is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Magnus at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Ew.
I know.
Okay. So basically, right? She ends up on her knees sucking Magnus off. Oh. Okay. I don't want to say that. That was gross. And then Callum is it's time to leave, princess. And she mentions how his low voice doesn't cover the wet sucking sound that comes seconds later. And I'm just all of the warmth drains from my body and I'm frozen. Is she with her mouth? And I'm like, I would feel that way too if I realized this was Magnus.
You're like, she's like, is this really happening?
And did she know that was a thing? Did she know going down on a man was a thing? I don't think so.
I don't think she knew what anything was.
Yeah.
You know?
So there's a lot. I mean, she's been introduced to some things.
And then he takes her from behind.
Right.
Doggy style. Wolfie style.
Which would be sexy, except now that we know it's Magnus. Whoa.
Ooh. Yuck. Okay. Moving on then. Chapter 36. Rory grinds on Callum until she orgasms. Just... It's so middle school. What does that say about me that I'm like, that's middle school?
I was going to say middle school, high school, right? But I think it's like I think it's how like every sexual relationship between two people starts, right? Like there's always
Begins.
some point of grinding that happens, like no matter the age.
A middle school dance, perhaps?
Right?
Get low, get low, get low, get low.
There's some, right? That's why you had to have like space between, like teachers would walk around and be like, more space between the two of you.
Oh, mine just said, make room for Jesus.
Really?
Make room for Jesus. Well, I went to private schools, but still.
I went to a public school. They did not say that. They were just like, there needs to be space between you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they walk away and space would disappear again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so basically, while she is doing this, she's rocking against his thigh. The heat is building, a flush spreading over my body. Whatever was knocked loose in my chest when Callum hurled me over his shoulder back at the castle has escaped again. It rages inside me, primal and wild and free. I am no longer a princess or a prisoner or a statue. I am no longer trapped in a cage or a castle. There are no chains nor wedding rings to bind me. Callum groans against my lips as if he can sense the change in me. And there's something tightening inside me, burning, building, and then it crashes over me. And Callum thrusts his tongue roughly against mine, claiming my release as it surges through me. My knees buckle and he holds me, stopping me from falling as my breath comes out hard and fast against his lips.
That's a pretty good first orgasm.
That's a pretty good.
Like, if your knees are going to buckle.
Yeah, but like considering you're just riding his thigh and he's not even using his fingers in there yet.
Yeah.
Or his tongue. Or his cock. I mean, you are a responsive person when it comes to orgasms, and I'm excited for you.
Or that man delivers.
His thigh can deliver. He can make you orgasm with his thigh. Like shit.
That's a new one.
That is a new one. Yep.
All right, we get to chapter 43. This is when Callum goes down on Rory. And this is where I love this because, like, you know, she's told him, like, not to be a gentleman. And, like, he's kissing her different places on her body. And he's, do gentlemen do this? Yeah, say it.
That's exactly the first thing I said to my husband. When the first time we had sex. We were just, like, making out. And, like, I literally told him, like, stop being a gentleman. And that's when we had sex for the first time. And so I like literally just like, oh, this brings back memories.
So many memories.
So sorry, hon. I'm telling the world what I told you.
I don't think you're probably the only person that's ever said that phrase, though.
Clearly not.
Clearly not, right?
It's a good phrase, though, and it gets some good reactions. Good phrase.
It does, it gets good reactions. I think. Like, yes. For the love. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to transition back into Callum and Aurora. Okay.
Would a gentleman do this?
Would a gentleman do this, right? As he's kissing and gets lower and lower. And it's funny because I'm like, how would she know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, the only gentleman she knows of is Sebastian, and no.
And I doubt he'd go down on her.
No.
He does not seem like a giver. He seems like a taker. Okay. But I love when she's like hot, wet, and hungry. He devours me. My back arches, my hips buck, and he grabs me, growling like a wild animal being disturbed from his prey. And I was just like, that is such a hot line, considering like he is also a wolf. I've never felt anything like it. He flicks and licks and sucks as though he cannot get enough of me, and the storm inside me becomes frantic. I want to lose myself to it, to this feeling, to him. And then this is where I started wondering, like, could they be mates? Like, are they fated mates? Because it's this felt different than the previous scene where she has an orgasm, which feels like the description is very traditional, I think. This feels like there's something else building inside of her, like she wants to lose herself to him. So yeah,
like her wolf wants to lose it to him. So then if we finally do get her losing it to him, her virginity, her V card, cha-ching, it's gone. Chapter 52, Callum goes down on Rory. Thank you so much. Foreplay is very fun. And then they have sex. And he full on says to her, "Look at me, princess." I bring my eyes back to his. There is something like awe in his. flickering with that wolf that lingers there. He plunges deep inside me, and it pushes me over the edge. Release surges through me, and I come completely undone beneath him. I cry out, gripping tightly onto him as my whole body shudders. His rhythm becomes feverish. His shoulders tense and his cheeks redden. His face is strained for a moment, then he groans, long and hard, his muscles spasming beneath my fingers as he spills into me. Fuck, Aurora. Fuck. Fuck.
Right? Well, and one of the things that I liked here is because like she talks about how his face is strained for a moment, and I feel like that's part of a book that everyone else like
get mentioned.
Never gets mentioned, and I'm just like, I mean, it's reality.
His O face, just like a
Yes. Most men do not have, I think, an attractive O face. Right? And so
I think it's hard for anybody to really
Probably.
like if you are really in the moment, like you don't care what's happening here.
No.
You're just like
But
you're all focused on there.
You're focused on something else. But I love
Mm-hmm.
that like she mentioned like how his face became strained, because I don't feel like we get that description anywhere else in any other book.
True.
We've read a lot of it.
We've read a lot of books.
All right. In terms of time to theorize, we've got a lot of theories. Okay.
Yeah.
So first up is, when did Blake know Aurora was a wolf? Like at what point? So based on the books, he initially left in her, like intentionally left in her room, which is at the very beginning of when he meets her. Like we have strong suspicion that like her mother was a wolf and killed because of it. Like he had to have known that. And since he spent time in the Southlands and the King's Guard, it's possible like he heard rumors from his time there. We know they're roughly the same age, him and Aurora. But he seems to know that there's something hidden inside Aurora from the first moment he meets her. Whereas everyone else doesn't sense it, but he does.
I think it's because he's half wolf too.
Yeah.
Like they can sense each other.
Or feel drawn to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Could they be weird mates too? I don't. Can you have more than one wolf mate?
We're going to talk about it in a little bit.
Well, sir. So, what is the high cost for Callum giving Aurora his collar? So it could be simply about the collar being tied to dominance and Callum not wanting it to be seen as father. That's one explanation for it, perhaps. But we also wonder if there's something potentially bigger going on. So is it possible that once you give your collar to another person, you can't take it back and you can't let anyone else have it? Like it's like a one and done.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that would mean that Callum and Blake would never be able to give their collars to anyone else but Rory in the future. So like, and can't she walk around with two collars?
Does it tie her to them somehow?
Yeah. Can she stack them up like a... Could she have a
Like
collection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know mates exist in the world. Are they chosen or are they fated? And can you have more than one mate? So, and I'm inclined to believe that they are fated in this world because based on how they're described, that they're really rare, which gives me the thought that this is not like just a chosen thing. And there's pretty intense connections that Callum and Aurora have together. Like when they touch each other, or like how when they first met, they couldn't take their eyes off each other. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this also could be, I'm just throwing this out here because I know we are in the Blood and Ash world and we are like dying on a cliff for believing that Kieran, Poppy, and Castile are heartmates.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. But could they have more than one mate? We know that that is also common in werewolf shifter romance books. So could this mean that Aurora is meant to be tied to both Callum and Blake?
And you know what's interesting? They're both alphas of different clans.
Correct.
Is she supposed to unite the clans? Is she going to be queen of the wolf?
Queen of the... I mean, that's what
Wolf
James
Queen?
offered her, was to be Wolf Queen.
Yeah, but nobody wants his.
Nobody wants James Wolf Queen.
No. I don't want your wolf dick. I want these wolf dicks.
Preferably at the same time.
Who knows? I think so. I think you can have more than one.
I think so too.
So, again, she's just going to stack the collars. So, okay. Now let's go to what caused the wolves to shift during the battle. So, I don't think that Sebastian actually gave them the heart of the moon. He's not that stupid. He's not that stupid. And also, I don't think it's an actual item that like one person can possess. Could it perhaps be a person rather than a rock? It's no coincidence that Aurora asks for help and then the wolves can shift. Seriously, like my mind was going crazy with this. I'm like, is she the moon? Is she the heart of the moon? Like there's so many just like parallelisms between her life and what's going on and the boys and all this stuff. Like, is she the moon? There's just too many of those things in the book where her thoughts seem to drive changes in the wind or the air around her. And I'm like, something's happening.
Something's happening. I agree. Okay, but why did James bite Aurora? Number one, it could have been that he's an asshole. That is very possible. She killed Sebastian. He was mad. I get that. But he could have just taken that out on Sebastian's body. But my guess is that Blake likely told him about the possibility of Aurora being a wolf and encouraged him to bite her to see what would happen.
Ooh.
Because Blake's plan doesn't work unless she gets injured and he needs to share his life force with her.
Yeah. Unless he was really pissed that he wanted to kill Sebastian and then was like, fuck you, you took away my kill and I don't like you and you refused me, so now I'm going to kill you anyway.
Right, but then I'm just like, maybe.
Yeah. Possible.
But it's also possible, like, he was in his wolf form, and we don't know if they can stop themselves from attacking humans in their wolf form. Like, what kind of control do they really have?
Yeah.
So my guess is that Blake has been playing Puppet Master with legitimately everyone for way longer, and so I think he has to be involved in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Blake could bite her.
Because he wasn't full wolf?
Because I think he's not full wolf. And I don't think he would have thought that, like, Callum would bite her.
True. All right, and what do all of these references to Nightfall Coming mean? It's all going to tie back to this Elder Wolf story somehow. Like, it's just gotta. And Blake is definitely a part of it. There are so many mentions about his dark aura and how he talks to one of his men about how the Snowlands fear the night that spreads. He knows whatever truth Sebastian mentions at the end. Like, is he the night?
Is he the night? Like, is Callum the Elder Wolf and is Rory the heart of the moon? Or the heart of the moon?
The night.
Yeah.
And who's the sun? Was Sebastian the sun? They got all pissed.
I don't know
who's the sun.
Maybe. It's possible that James was the sun. I feel like in the Elder Wolf story, there's a mention of like how the moon is placed with like in a cage by like the god of the night. I wonder if that is like,
yeah, because she was in a cage,
right?
But is the cage also like her being tied to him?
Right,
like
and connected to him. I know.
Like that's another cage.
And what does her mom have to do with all of this?
Yeah.
Because I think there's more to that too. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can Aurora see into Blake's past due to their bond? We think so. So we believe the images she saw when he was transferring his life source to her allowed her to see that. So our theory is that she would be able to do this more in depth through their connection anytime she wants. She'll just have to figure out how to do it. So think about this. They have this open connection. Like that means she should be able to peer into his mind. And vice versa, which is also kind of fucking scary. She's going to need to learn how to do mental shields real quick.
Yeah. And I'm also curious if she's getting sexual pleasure, does he feel that orgasm too?
Or does
if he's not with her?
Or does he like, what does that do to him? Like if he can tell like her and Callum are having sex, like is that going to make him like all hot and bothered in a possessive way?
Yeah. Yeah. Or is he just going to be an asshole and go like jerk himself off and make her have orgasms at inopportune times?
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
And all of a sudden she's having a meeting and then she pulls like a Meg Ryan and is like, and just like, I'll have what she's having.
He's like Brooks and Sienna at the gala.
Yeah.
On the dance floor.
What is going on with you? She's like, I can't help it. It's Blake. He's making me orgasm, but he's not even here.
He's doing it with his mind.
Ooh, mind orgasms.
Right?
I mean, give me some Pierce Neverlist, please. Thank
That's
you
what I was
very
just
much.
thinking. We
I
did
would
like
love
that a lot.
That was fun. So, here's a question. Who can Aurora trust at this point? I mean, I think it's Callum and that's it. Trust no one else? Maybe Fiona?
Maybe.
Eh?
It's
But basically, not Isla.
definitely
bitch.
not yeah, not Becky.
Not Becky. Not Becky either. Becky is... She's not as bad as Isla, but she's not on the good train. So,
No.
is this going to turn to a why choose? I hope so. I hope so. I know Blake and Aurora are going to have this connection. I can't imagine Aurora leaving Callum for any reason. So I'm like, how about we all just become friends and just have a joining? How about let's sit and have a joining?
Sharing
Can we do
is
that?
caring.
Sharing is caring. It is.
It really is. Okay. In terms of what's next, if you enjoyed this book, we think you're also going to love the second book in the series, The Night Prince. We literally cannot wait to start reading that.
Yes.
I will probably be doing that immediately after this recording is over.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
Bye. We also recommend checking out the Wolves of Crescent Creek series by Tessa Hale. 3 books in that Why Choose Shifter Romance series. They are so much fun to read.
So good. So good. And then join us next week when we dive into the world of contemporary romance and discuss 7-Year Itch by Amy Dawes. Plus, we'll be back on October 8th when we discuss the second book in this series, The Night Prince. Happy reading, everybody.
Happy reading. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.